So my AS Music Magazine double page spread and contents page challenges the normal conventions of a music magazine and the other pages that are within it, as I use a actor, like for the model, as someone who isn't famous and is meant to be someone that's not experienced and new into the industry, whereas the magazines I looked at through my research and planning and looking at when analysing and how they lay their magazine out and what sort of conventions they follow, they often use big artists like Drake, Usher, Rihanna, Chris Brown, and the ones that are famous that would make people want to read the magazines. It'll be about them, whereas I chose to use someone that's maybe not necessarily as famous as them, and therefore it might help to intrigue readers and target a niche market rather than a more specific general market. I would also say I used different sort of lighting and cameras. A lot of music magazines I looked at have like the artist's face just as it, and they'll have like a blank screen and have writing around their face, whereas I chose to use the picture with the background in it as well, because I chose the location purely for the background. So I chose for my front cover having my artist sitting down on a chair and having the background of South London and the South Bank along it, so it would sort of aim it more at a specific audience and showing the background of where my artist came from. This wasn't really used in the ones I looked at. It was more that was more my idea and how I wanted to be a bit different from the typical ones. Some of the magazine covers I looked at in a bit of detail also had some sort of games or deals and offers for tickets that an artist may be producing. So I chose to include this like opportunity to win some tickets on my cover page, as I thought this might entice the audience and make it a bit more appealing. Aiming it at the audience range of 16 and not too low and not too high. I didn't want to, I sort of aimed to write about festivals a bit, because that's often people over the age of 16 that would attend them, whereas some of the pop magazines I looked at were aimed more at like 8 to 10 year olds, which wasn't my targeted audience. I also didn't want to go too old, because younger people of like 20s and 18-year-olds and older teenagers, younger adults, they wouldn't have been as interested in it if it was aimed more at older adults. So yeah, I definitely followed that as to what some magazines had. So I used a camera that probably wasn't as advanced as what typical magazines would use, like Billboard and stuff, as I decided to think that it might be a bit more effective to use a camera that draws out the colours and isn't as focused on the artist. Maybe that was something that I did challenge for the conventions, because it wasn't typically what a lot of magazines do have. I felt like using a camera that isn't as advanced and high-tech made the whole background of it also become part of the cover, not just the artist's face, which is what a lot of magazines focus their cover on. It will just be a photo of the artist from their shoulders and up, and it won't be anything else, whereas I decided to include a whole sort of landscape of it. This was probably effective in some way to target a niche market. However, it may not have attracted typical music magazine readers, as they're used to seeing the magazine being just the artist's face. But then again, it could be argued that that might attract them more, as it's something they're not used to. So I think challenging that was quite enjoyable, as I got to pick the certain locations that I wanted the background to be in, not just having a blank wall. However, I did follow some of the typical conventions of a music magazine, and I developed with this. I chose to use typical cover lines and short punchy phrases that they would often use on music magazines, just to grab the audience's attention. I thought that this would be quite effective when trying to write a music magazine, as I was following what a lot of people are used to, and it may also drag people in if it's got some artist names on there they may recognise, or some things about festivals or something to do with music that is relatable to my magazine. I also wrote a lot of the similar questions and followed them as what I looked at as the double page spread when interviewing the artist. Looking into this made me realise what people probably wanted to read and wanted to hear about the artist, and not maybe something that isn't as common. I also decided to have my contents page pretty basic, which maybe I could have developed a bit more on, but I chose to have it a bit basic because I thought that sometimes it'd be easier. However, looking back at it, a lot of magazines choose to have a lot more detail on their cover contents page, because it's the second page that the readers look at. Therefore, I should have probably made it a bit more eye-catching, I'd say. I did use a variety of different colours, but maybe I could have developed this a bit more similarly to the other music magazines I looked at.